Hello, my name is Eric Bodine, and on today's neuroscience talk, I will be discussing the GPS-like grid cells found in human brains. Scientists rarely have the opportunity to study single-cell behavior deep inside a living human brain. But a U.S. team was offered the chance to make human brain recordings in epilepsy patients undergoing treatment that implanted electrodes deep inside their brains. The researchers discovered that humans, like other animals, appear to have a type of brain cell that behaves like a GPS, or global positioning system. Scientists had already discovered that the brains of rodents and non-human primates have grid cells that help the animal keep track of their relative location when navigating in an unfamiliar environment. Grid cells send signals to another group of cells called place cells, and they both send signals to the hippocampus, an area of the brain that is important in forming memory. Together, the two groups of cells make a mental picture of where the animal is in its environment. Grid cells get their name from the triangular grid pattern they appear to use to represent spatial location. Imagine yourself standing on a patterned floor made of interlocking triangular shapes. As you walk around, you cross over from one triangle to another. Grid cells appear to map such a grid pattern because of the way their activity spikes as you traverse the grid. This cell behavior, which is distinct from that of other brain cells, allows the brain to keep track of how far you've traveled from a starting point, or from your last turn. This type of navigation is called path integration. For their study, the team recorded brain activity in 14 epilepsy patients as they played a video game on a laptop at their hospital beds. In the video game, the patients used a joystick to control a bicycle that they rode around in a wide open terrain. They had to navigate and retrieve objects from various points in an unknown environment, and then recall where the objects were located. During these various stages of the game, the researchers observed the activity of individual cells in the patient's brains. They saw how different grid cells fired at different times, depending on where the patient was on the grid. Interestingly, the grid cells in the human patients were found in the part of the brain known as the entorhinal cortex, which is also where they were found in the animal studies. We may not have the long-distance navigation capabilities of a carrier pigeon, but this study shows that we do have some sort of inborn natural capability to get around our local environment. That's all the time we have for today's talk. Thank you for listening.